term, this cult of the amateur. The less you know, the more you know. The more ignorant you are, the more you whip up the crowd. So if, for those of you who are not schooled in Marx and Marxism, I would advise you to read not so much Marx himself, but rather perhaps the Marxist cultural theorists, particularly Benjamin and of course Adorno. And it was Adorno who more than anyone else was looking for meaning in a cultural economy of capital. So Bruce introduced two themes, the Gothic, can't remember now, Gothic high-tech and favela chic. I've always wanted to use this word in a speech, and I've never had the opportunity, so I'm going to do it now. I think his speech was Janus-faced, meaning that he was looking both backwards and forwards. In this Gothic, in the Gothic analysis, I think he perhaps fell into a kind of romanticism of the past. The idea that the barbarians are at the gate, the Goths, and that they're sacking Rome. So let's figure out what's happened and then talk about today and the future, which I think we can do in terms of his very useful metaphor of favela chic. Now, of course, what has happened more than anything else, and this is why Marx is so valuable, is that technology has done away with old scarcity. The history of industrial capitalism, for better or worse, and in my view was probably mostly for the better, although one can be critical of this, was that a dominant class, a dominant group of people seized control of the tools of cultural production. Technology enabled them to do that. So the big book publishers, the newspapers, the movie business, all these large entertainment businesses which created, distributed, and sold culture in a mass context. All this was done because they controlled a scarcity of technology. You all know the story. You couldn't, in the old days, make a movie without large investment. You couldn't print a book. You couldn't make